here in Studio B, along with Quentin Richardson, Isaiah Thomas. This is Playoff Central Live. We just witnessed the Lakers fall to the Phoenix Suns, a 13-point win, and anybody that watched the game know that it really wasn't that close. There was a late run for the Lakers, but ultimately it was all about the Phoenix Suns, who came out early and hit these Lakers in the mouth. We saw Devin Booker go for 22 points in the first quarter, tie an NBA record with 6 threes, and we saw MJP do the same thing essentially earlier in the night, so it was cool to see those two records match. Zeke, your initial takeaways, seeing what Phoenix was able to do in eliminating the defending world champions.
My two takeaways, Devin Booker, not only, we're seeing that he's totally arrived. Trae Young, these young players are stepping up. It's a new day on the block. It's some new kids that have stepped up, and they're not kids anymore, and they've developed. And the other thing that I saw that in this series, where I thought Monty Williams, from a coaching standpoint, I thought he had Vogel just scrambling. I mean, Monty had control of the series from a chess game, and we saw the Lakers playing lineups, playing people together that they haven't played combinations all year long. And once they started making those type of changes, I felt like the Lakers were totally out of rhythm, totally out of sync. And you got to give Monty Williams a lot of credit for just, turning the screws. Oh, you want to put that one? Okay, I'm going to put this one in. And he kept them off balance the whole series.
Drumming tonight, played Gasol, and he got him changing his mind.
A lot of different changes tonight from the Lakers. We saw Anthony Davis, who did make the start, 5 minutes, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 0 points, didn't get a shot up.
Shouldn't have been out there.
Well, speak on that.
He shouldn't have.
Why shouldn't he have been out there?
From the first play of the game, when me and Zeke were sitting here watching, we were just watching him move, and he didn't look like he had anything. It looked like he literally went out there to give it the good old college try, but knowing that he was going to be out of it within minutes. Because it didn't look like, had even whatever happened when he strained it, had that not happened, it didn't look like he was going to be able to pursue anybody or move really anyway.
Yeah, and if he was medically clear to play, then what that means is they're saying you can't injure yourself any more than you already injured. He just wasn't effective. And psychologically, you can tell that, he not only physically could he give it all, but psychologically he was still holding back. So, it's probably a good thing for him that he got out of the game as opposed to trying to stay in the game and really totally injuring himself more.
Now, it can all be speculated. Maybe they shouldn't have played him. Maybe they should. That goes without being said. We can just put that aside and have that for a conversation for another day. LeBron James, the first time that he's ever been eliminated in the first round, finishes tonight with 29, 7, and 9. Exited the game, 11 minutes left in an elimination game. The Lakers were within 10. At that moment, Hugh, I'm watching the game in the back, and I'm wondering, why would LeBron come out at that moment? And I know, hey, I'm not on the floor. But however, what did you think when you saw LeBron in an elimination game with the Lakers closing the gap, him exit the game? What were your thoughts?
I kind of looked at it as this was kind of the nail in the coffin, because I didn't think they would continue to push forward and come back with him going to the bench that way. And I just looked at it as like, okay, as it was going, because they were kind of surging a little bit, closing it up. But then once he came out, I was like, I didn't think they were going to continue to surge. And I mean, kind of it went the other way then.
Yeah, because it started.
And from a coaching standpoint, and you played for me before, like
I would be in the game.
You tired of coming?
He gonna turn around and wave you off.
You good?
in other words, you're gonna put your horses in the game.
I'm
regardless.
not taking you out. I'm not taking you out, even though you're saying take me out. I'm tired. But that was a crucial point in the game from a momentum standpoint. You at 10. Right? Mm-hmm. And psychologically for players and teams, if I can cut it to 8, if I can get it below double digits, then the whole momentum and everything shifts. But, coming out that period of time, the player may not realize that, okay, But you, from a coaching standpoint, hey, this is a momentum time right now. I can't take you out, you know. And Chuck Daly used to do this to me sometimes. I'd be tired, and he'll do this. And
Look the other way. Look the other way. Look the other way.
He walked back to the bench.
Turn the other cheek. It happens. The Lakers were down by 13 going into the fourth quarter. As I mentioned, they got it within 10, but they couldn't get it any more closer than that. So we'll put the Lakers to the side momentarily, but just looking at this Phoenix Suns team as they advance to the next round, we saw what the Denver Nuggets did earlier against Portland. Just taking a look forward at this next series, and we touched on it a little bit earlier, but now that we know this matchup with the Nuggets and the Suns, two teams that are young essentially with some sprinkled vets here and there, Q, what are you looking forward to seeing most to as far as the matchups go within the series?
I look at this should be a great series. I mean, hopefully Chris Paul and Aiden are a little bit more healthier once the games start, but I think this could be, you know, a really, really good series. I know Jokic is obviously going to continue to be a handful, but I'm with Zeke right now, man. I think Devin Booker is a man on a mission. I think he's going to be a tough challenge to contain in this next series. I mean, I think he's gotten himself into a rhythm. He's at a confident point where he just got through, you know, knocking off LeBron and the defending champion Lakers, and he straight balled out. I think if I'm Devin Booker, I don't feel like anybody could stop me. So I look for him to try and go crazy this series.
So that's the player perspective, Zeke.
Well, you know, and what Q just hit on it again is, you know, Booker's confidence, right? And when you look at the confidence, and this is something that, and Q said this a little earlier tonight off camera, when, you know, there are things that we know as former players that no matter how much someone else has studied the game or observed the game, the participant has much more knowledge. And when you look at Monty Williams, James Jones, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, those are the four basketball brains that you're talking about, all former players, all former participants in the game at a very high level. So the knowledge that they're bringing to the game has instilled a lot of confidence in that Phoenix Suns organization.
Indeed it has, and we see them advance tonight. They will go on to the conference semis to face the Denver Nuggets. In the meantime, we're going to – this is what I love about live television. We think one thing's going to happen, and it doesn't necessarily happen like that. So we'll go to the Twitter. This year's finals won't have either LeBron or Steph for the first time since 2010. Q Rich, you see that, you say what?
That's bars right there. Like that's salute to LeBron and his teammates, and that's salute to Steph and his teammates, because that's 11 years, bro. That's 10 years straight, and then it's the first year. That's crazy.
It is. Let's take it to Frank Vogel after the game.
It says utility webcam. You know what that means? Okay.
Yeah, before he left.
Really, the 7th seed in the West, they really were the first seed for the majority of the year. Then injuries took place. As you see, AD appeared in 36 regular season games. LeBron, a career low games. A lot of things changing in Los Angeles maybe next season. But in the meantime, we'll start things off listening to Frank Vogel, the head coach of the Lakers.
Hey, Frank, what are your thoughts on AD's start of the game? Clearly struggling movement-wise, and what you were seeing was how's that played out in the first quarter?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a warrior. You know, he tried to get out there and play through what was going to be. We knew it was going to be difficult for him to be able to move. You know, he did everything he could from a treatment standpoint to loosen it up, and you know, was hoping that, you know, some in-game adrenaline would also help with it. But you know, certainly wasn't moving well at all to start the game, and then went down, you know, grabbing it at that one point early in the first.
Phoenix obviously got off to that big lead. Frank, how much of that did you see in terms of the personnel changes and the system changes you had to make without AD? And how did you deal with that throughout the rest of the quarter?
Well, yeah, I mean, credit to Suns, right? I mean, they came out and made, I think, their first 7 threes or 6 out of 7 threes or something like that. Crowder made 3. Booker was red hot to start the game. and obviously it just put us in a deficit, and it was too much for us to overcome.
All good.
Frank, what do you think? When do you think the team turned it on a little bit in the second half? What sparked it, do you think, and how much of it was with that had to do with that small lineup that you went to with LeBron at center?
Yeah, well, I think that's the lineup that turned it around. I think we started a little bit with Mark. We just had to find a way to shut Booker's water off. The guy was just red hot, and we tried to take the ball out of his hands in every way that we're capable of, and we were prepared with a lot of different double teams, and to do that, the best lineup out there is a small lineup where five smalls can basically rotate, or Keith or Bron at the 5 can double and then full rotate around the horn, and we were able to generate some defensive stops, get us out on a break, and then there's offensive spacing benefit to that lineup as well. Had our best quarter in that third on both sides of the ball, but obviously we just fell short.
And Marky?
Frank, I guess kind of a bigger picture question. Now that you're here, it kind of feels like the end of a journey that started 2+ years ago. When you got hired. What was the message, I guess, to your group after you've been on this crazy road together and now can actually step back and exhale?
Yeah, just I don't want to divulge too much of what I said to our guys, but basically that I'm proud of them. We've been through a lot. We had a lot to overcome, and I was proud of them for fighting all the way to the end, and staying together throughout.
Frank, as you reflect on this season over the coming months, are there things that you feel like could have been done differently, or is this just a result of bad luck and bad timing on injuries and things that were kind of beyond you?
Well, I just think the whole thing was a challenge, to play all the way into October and then to start the season as quickly as we did. It was just going to be an uphill battle. None of our guys were prepared, for training camp, and we tried to grind through it, and get our legs under us and get them conditioned the right way. We made moves. The front office made moves. We tried to manage and navigate through injuries as a coaching staff. Just trying to strike that right balance of keeping guys in there and building them up the right way, and ultimately the injuries that we faced were just too much, with AD and Bron being out for as long as they were, and trying to strike that cohesiveness against a great team, quite frankly. The Phoenix Suns, second best record in the NBA for a reason. This is a matchup, if we're whole, it should probably take place in the conference finals. But obviously, the regular season was what it was with injuries, and we slipped. So, we have to take it in the first round, and I would like to see what our group could have done against this team if we were at full strength, but we weren't, and that's sports, and we just got to do the best we can, make the best of it. And like I said, I was proud of how our guys fought through the injuries.
Anything on that?
Hey Frank, considering the championship credo of this organization and the back-to-back role of this specific group, did you feel like you had a group, if things went the right way, would have been capable of reaching your goal? And what, outside of talking about the decisions that Rob has to make on that, but what do you think has to happen to get back to that mountaintop next year?
Well, what happens next and what I think needs to happen next will all be discussed over the coming weeks. But I do think we had a group that could repeat this year had not been for the injuries. We were 21-6 when Anthony Davis goes down, and then Bron goes down shortly after that. It basically derailed our run, and we did everything we can to fight through that, but ultimately it wasn't enough.
Time for one last question, Rashawn Neela.
Coach. You kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. Is it kind of tough to wrap your head around just how quickly this series changed? And is that sort of like a culmination of just what this season has been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the playoffs. You know, playoffs change in a heartbeat. Momentum changes overnight with one game, with one shot, one possession, one injury. And, you know, I mean, that's just the way the NBA playoffs are. But it's, you know, it's a disappointing feeling for sure. You know, it's gut-wrenching. And, you know, we'll get back to the drawing board. We'll take some time away and, you know, turn our attention to next year.
Next year will be Knicks Suns, Monty Williams.
Wanted to ask just obviously about Booker. You talked before about him, hey, take the first shot available. It looked like he was dialed into that and more. We'll just figure that the first half he had.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those deals where he was feeling it, but our guys understood that he was feeling it, and so we got a number of stops in the first quarter. I mean, they only scored 14 points, so we were getting out and running. And we had a conversation after game 2, I think, or game 3. It was game 3, I think, about their defense is so good and they shift to the ball so well. He's not gonna get another look after the first one presents itself. And so that was the mentality that we wanted him to have. And you know, he's a gifted scorer, but it was you know, the shot making and then the stops on top of that you know, probably deflated them a little bit in the first half. But you know, it was an impressive first half. I'm not quite sure how many points he had in the first half, maybe 33 or something like that. But it was a special night for him, and to do that in a closeout game is really cool. And so I was happy for him, happy for our team, and certainly you know, happy to be moving on.
Monty, for Devin, last season 9 minutes. At what point does he tell you, or do you feel like he's good to stay out there? Locked in feels cliche, but just the look on his face the entire night. What did you see there?
I wasn't really locked into the look on his face, but in the second half, especially when they went small, I didn't want to take any chances taking him off the floor. One, he draws a double team, and two, he was getting to the paint. But he, you know, players like Book have a determination about him, and I've said this about him a number of times. He doesn't run from the moment, and in this particular case, the moment was the whole game. You know, they had a 35-point third quarter, and so they made a run, and so I didn't want to sit him in the fourth in case their momentum continued.
Hey, Monty, what was your message to the team at halftime and then in between the
third and the fourth quarter as the Lakers continued to make up ground that you guys were eventually able to hold off still?
The thing that was hurting us was our transition defense. We had a few dead balls where they beat us down the floor, and that was, you know, something that should never happen against our team, and our guys knew it. I asked them at halftime, you know, what was their input, and one of the things they said was transition defense. And so that was the focus. You know, if we don't score, like, we got to get back. And, you know, the Lakers threw everything, every defense you can imagine. I mean, they went 2 different types of zones. They trapped us a little bit. They switched. And so they caused some havoc in that regard. But the transition defense was what we talked about at halftime and in between the quarter breaks.
And from Anthony Davis, 5 minutes, he is at the podium.
North side.
Thank you for your patience. Okay, hello, Will. We are ready when you're ready.
Thank you, Montreal.
Hey, Anthony, it was pretty obvious how much the groin was hampering you early. Could you just take us through what it felt like and what was your mindset and how you were trying to figure out if you were going to be able to stay and do anything on either end?
wanted to be out there for the team, in a situation when to go home. Obviously didn't want to just lay down and not be able to do what I can. It never really felt good, but like I say, I want to go out, just the competitive nature in me to go out and help the team, as best as I could. My body didn't agree, so team fought. We fought. Made runs. Guys left it all out on the floor tonight, and we get ready for next year. We get ready to have a full off season. Everyone heal up. Especially the guys that say you hurt a lot this year. Heal your bodies, rest your bodies, and get ready for next season. That's all we can do. That's what I'm going to do. Let the body heal and get right back to it.
Frank had mentioned a moment ago when you guys were 21-6 when you went down with the original injury in February. AD, could you just zoom out and discuss, the October 11th finals, the shortened off season, that injury, getting back for it, how that all fit into context for you personally?
It was a quick turnaround. Don't really get the full summer. Usually take about a month or so off, and you still have like 6 weeks to just do all, weight room training. And then you have another month, month and a half for on court. So you didn't get that this summer. Kind of mess up guys' routines where you're trying to recover from a season and then also get ready for a season. So it was different. And just all around the league, guys' bodies didn't handle that very well. But now that, we have the opportunity as the Lakers to kind of take advantage of, this longer off season to get our bodies right. I know I am. Heal up, rest, and get right back to the training to prepare for next season. So it was a different thing with us, but it's something that, we had to adjust to. Not sure what the plan is for next season as far as, COVID test and when the season is supposed to start. But all we can do is know that we have to, get healthy. I think health played a big part of why we're in the position that we're in. Me missing 30 games, Bron missing an extensive amount of games, and, from AC, Kenny, all our guys, Kuz, all our guys just, we just wasn't healthy. We were very healthy last year, and it wasn't the same this year. And, we just couldn't have our full product on the floor.
Bill Oram?
AD, it sounds like you just chalked this up to the health and the injuries this year. Was this team connected enough and cohesive enough to, in your mind, win a championship if not for the injuries?
I think so. When we were healthy, everyone was available. We've seen the type of team that we can be. Before, my injury, we were 21-6, like Mike said. So we were rolling. We had the pieces. We just, couldn't stay healthy. A lot of that, was, me. We have a main guy that's not on the floor, and then you have another guy. Your two main guys is not able to participate. It's just tough for an extensive amount of time. So that's all it really was. I think the team that we built this summer, we had the right pieces to do so. I think just health just played a big factor.
You came to LA aware of what the injuries you sustained in New Orleans, how they had an effect on the perception of you around the league. And you pushed through a lot last year, won the championship. The way this year went, would you take anything into the offseason feeling like you had to prove stuff all over again a little bit?
No. I don't have to prove nothing to anyone. and I'm not going to prove anything to anyone. It doesn't matter to me. Things that everyone is saying, it comes with the territory. You know, when you're a player of my caliber, guys are going to expect things from you and going to say things from you, whatever their reason is you know, it's my job to be on the floor, and I know what I go through, what I play through, and what my body go through. The guys in the locker room know, front office know, coaching staff know. So I don't need to prove anything to anyone that's outside of this Lakers organization, and I'm not going to prove anything to anyone. My job is to play basketball and be out there on the floor as much as I can. And I think the Achilles injury was obviously nothing that I'm going to, play with. It's such a big injury. And then what happened in Game 3 was just a freak accident, hyperextension of the knee, and played through that for the rest of the game. And then come Game 4, a play that happened, with the groin because of the knee. You just can't try to play through it and do what you can. That's what I did, and guys in the locker room know. But my job is not to prove anything to anyone that's not in this locker room or in this organization, and I'm not going to, and I don't have to.
Anthony, obviously, this team paid a physical toll for the short off season last year. The strain you guys had to put your bodies through in the bubble. What was the mental toll that this team had to pay for going through what you guys went through, and then having not only to deal with, the injuries and stuff like that, but also the protocols, the testing, the compressed schedule? How emotionally tough was this year for you guys?
It was definitely tough. I want to say the protocols and stuff. I think just not having our full team because of guys had COVID or injuries. I think that was the most mentally draining thing for us. Because when you have a full team, when we had our full team, we saw how good we were, and then not being able to have it for a lot this season, it was just tough for us because we knew the type of team that we could be when we're healthy. So I think mentally that was the biggest thing for us. Nothing else, not the shorter off season or the compressed schedule, because everyone else had to go through it as well, even though the off season was a little longer. I think for us it was just we wasn't able to really take advantage of our full team and the team that we know that we could be. So I think that was the most mentally draining thing for us.
And for one last question, Calhoun.
AD, I know there's so many complex factors involved in the offseason with individual decisions, but to kind of piggyback on your thought that the pieces were there with this team, is your mentality this offseason, are you hopeful that guys want to run it back, that guys want to re-sign, that you can bring some of the same pieces back and try again next year?
Hopefully, but that's each guy's decision. We wanted the same thing last year. It don't work that way. Guys have to look out for themselves and their families and do what they think is best for them. And we can do nothing but respect it. But like I say, most importantly, I want everybody to get healthy. A lot of guys played through a lot of injuries this year and have played through it. We want everyone to get healthy, and if guys, feel like this season was a fluke, I say, for us because of the injuries, and we didn't get a chance to, really reach our potential because of the injuries, then, let's do it. But at the end of the day, I know that guys have a lot to think about. It's all still fresh, too. It's all still fresh. Guys are not thinking about anything other than, getting it right and how we could have, won this series and moved on to the next series, and then the Western Conference Finals and the finals. So guys are going to be thinking about that for a while, and when it's time to, think about their future. And if
you took down the defending champs and are moving forward to the next round.
It's good, man. Real good. It's an emotional series. I mean, this team, man, we're a complete team. You know, been through a lot. Our first year together, coach getting his first series win as a coach, it's big.
All right, next up is going to be Cam Cox from 12 News, followed by Kellen Olson.
Hey, Chris, congrats on the series win. Just what are the emotions right now when you walked off the court at the end? This is what you talked about, why you came here to play with Book and having a night like this. Just what are the emotions right now?
It's a lot, man. It ain't no secret. I ain't won but so many series in my career. So after game 3, you know, when we lost and, you know, all the, you know, stuff that was going on, you know, I just kept telling the guys, stay focused. You know, there's no better feeling than that last 30 seconds when you're dribbling the clock out in the closeout game. And so, you know, we got a chance to get that feeling. And the guys worked hard. This team put in a lot of work. The guys that's been here, Book, the guy who's been here the longest, he done had a lot of hard seasons, a lot of tough L's, and to see what he did tonight in the closeout game, it's special, man. And I'm happy for everybody, but I'm more so happy for him that he's getting to experience this.
Next up is going to be Kellen Olson, followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Hey, Chris, to go off that, you have a lot of guys in their first playoff series ever. So for a game like this where you guys jump out early, but then the Lakers storm back, for you guys to remain composed, just how proud are you of the younger players on your team?
Man, I'm so happy. I'm so happy for the guys in a series where, I mean, I wanted to do more. I always did, but when you talk about next guy up, and my teammates just always uplifted me, like, see, you got to be aggressive. You got to find it. You got to find it. So to know that we got through this series and we did it together as a team is nothing like it.
Next up is Dwayne Rankin, followed by Paul Richardson.
You know, I played her in this league.
Chris, obviously, it was that stretch they got it down to, I think it was maybe 10, and then you scored 4 points and set up Mikal for that 3. How huge was that stretch? Was that the closer, you feel like, for you guys?
Yeah, you know what, man? Willie Green came to me and told me, he was like, see, in order for us to win this game, you're going to have to impose something on this game. And I was like, chill, I'm trying. He was like, well, you heard what I said. And it's funny, man, some years ago when I was with the Clippers, we was playing a game 7 against the Warriors, and Willie's locker was right next to mine. And he came up to me at halftime and was like, yo, you gotta be more aggressive. So it was almost like deja vu. And so, we done fought so hard, put ourselves in a position to win, that I felt like I had to step up for my guys.
Chris, just a quick follow. I'm sure you saw the report in regards to you. I'm not asking about you to respond to that. What I'm asking is, that can be the report about, your intentions or whatever for, to opt out. It was a story. It wasn't attributed to anybody. It just was a story that's out. My question to you is, that could lead to distraction for a team, but clearly you guys didn't have that. I didn't even know if that was even on your radar or was even discussed in the locker room at all, because you guys came out so focused. I would think it wasn't, but I
haven't seen it, to tell you the truth. I haven't seen it. And with our team, we got a singular focus. You know what I mean? That stuff doesn't creep in our locker room because, we focus on today and what's going on right now.
All right. Oops. Sorry. Next up is going to be Paul Richardson with the Sports Cave, followed by Anthony Slater.
Chris, as was stated, you came in, hit the big shots, and passed off to Mikal for a big one, but also they were getting downhill a lot. You talk about D8 coming back in the game and clogging up that middle and kind of stopping them from going downhill so much.
It's huge. If you didn't watch Bron play over the years, when he got shooters, he's so big and strong, he'll just cross over and basically play bully ball and clear you out the way, and he laying up with dunking or finding guys. And so we just try to make it tough on him. He still got a lot of easy baskets, but we just try to be there for each other. And DA was a beast, man. It's almost like he was like, the hell with the regular season, just let the playoffs get here. So like I said, man, with the team that we got, I wouldn't rather be here and win with a different group of guys. All these guys deserve it, and I'm happy for them.
Next is Anthony Slater with The Athletic, followed by David Aldridge.
I'm sorry. This got to be the last. Well, I'll wait on DA. I got to go see my kids before I get on this plane.
Okay. Last question, Anthony Slater.
Yeah, Chris, you came knowing what Devin was as a scorer, as a talent. What have you seen behind the scenes in the lead up and through this year that you knew he could be this kind of winner, this kind of, he could do what he basically just did in this series?
Put the work in. He put the work in. Any shot that he shoot is an easy shot. And I think one of the biggest things that made me want to come play here is that I've always had the utmost respect for two-way players, right? Guys that not only score and play offense, but guys that play defense too. And so Devin is one of those guys. He competes on both ends of the court. He accepts a challenge. And when you have guys like that, everybody on the team respects them. So it starts with him. When I got here and I saw the type of respect that Mikhail, DA, all the coaches have for Book is contagious.
All right, Chris, thanks for the time.
Oh, I got DA. Go ahead.
Oh, DA. Oops. Sorry about that, guys.
If you need to go see your kids, man.
Go ahead. We're good.
Okay, because I just wanted to ask you, you've been at this for a minute, trying to get up this hill, and I just wonder. I know you got more game, you got another series to get ready for, but how does that mentality of always being able to kind of come back and try again allow someone to continue to compete at a high level when you get to the playoffs? When you've had to deal with failure or injury or, not winning for whatever reason, and then the next year you have to do it again, and then the next year you have to do it again. How does that help you at this time of the year?
Just, I don't know. That's a good question, dear. I'm just built like that. I'm just going to keep going. Because one thing about this game, I haven't won a championship or whatever, but ain't too many people that know this game better than I do. Guarantee you that. And I'm going to put the work in. I'm going to enjoy it, with my teammates, and we always going to fight. And I always say we always going to have a chance. Doc Rivers used to always say, you not only have to be good, you got to have some luck to go with it. And I think for us, we just want to continue to play. And been at this a long time. You can be on a real good team, and it can be like hell. You know what I mean? You're not even having fun. But this team right here, man, it's a joy to come to practice and be around these guys every day.
Every day you don't see